All right, I'm gonna make this quick because I know the attention span of my people is not very large. When I say my people, I mean my generation of MySpacers, Facebookers, and everyone who's in this generation of mass media consumption and information overload. So if it's not coming at you at warp speed or whatever, we don't want to pay attention to it. But anyway, yeah, so what's been bothering me for a little while is this whole super committee thing of Congress. Does anyone, I don't know if you've been paying attention or if you know what this is, but it's the Joint Select Committee on Deficit Reduction. It was constructed this past summer or after the whole debt ceiling clusterfuck. Um, Basically, this committee was put together as a compromise between the president and the Congress. It's like, okay, we're going, since no one can get along, we can't come to an agreement on things that should be cut in the budget or whatever. It's like we're gonna have this smaller group of people try to come together, 6 Republicans and 6 Democrats. We're gonna get those people together, and you guys are gonna come up with a plan by November 23rd and send it to the president and send it to no, actually send it to Congress. To the greater Congress for recommendations of what's going to be cut. And by December 23rd, all of that has to be voted on and taken action. If it's not voted on and taken action by then, if a plan is not submitted by then and put into law by December 23rd, there's going to be automatic budget cuts. It's 50%. No, it's going to be across the board budget cuts from defense and non-defense. Defense is going to share half of the burden, and non-defense is going to share half of the burden. I think Social Security and Medicaid won't be touched, but Medicare is going to be cut, and a slew of other programs are just going to be cut. Going to get massively cut just across the board. There's not going to be any discussion on that. That's just the way that this thing, and a lot of people don't even know that that's on the table. So this stuff is going on, and it's all getting hidden inside of 500-page documents and bills and stuff, but people don't really read through it or pay attention or whatever. But yeah, so basically now this super committee, they come up with these recommendations. They send it to the Congress on November 23rd, which right now they're like miles apart. Washington Times just reported this today. They're miles apart on any type of agreement on that, and this is like 1 month before their deadline, and they aren't agreeing on hardly anything. It's ridiculous out there. But I mean, which you could have expected that, because I mean the Republicans, they're still going to push their agenda, and the Democrats are still going to push their agenda, and it's it's really like nothing has really changed about it. The only thing that's changed is that they put more of the power and concentrated into these few groups of this little small group of people, because another rule of the super committee that was by the debt ceiling raise bill or whatever, the rule is that these people come up with these recommendations, and the rest of Congress, they can't argue or debate on it. They just have to submit it. They submit it, and they vote yes or they vote no on it. And that's what each congressperson is going to have to vote on. And there's going to be no room for discussion. So the only discussion that's going to take place is inside of the room. That's the only public discussion that's going to take place on it. So really, nobody, like the people, we don't really get to see any of it anymore, because okay, you have only this small group of people that are debating on it, and then there's not a greater debate going on about it for the country and for all of the Congress people and everything, to make stuff public. None of them really read all of this stuff anyway, but each senator that's going to get, their pages or whatever, not page, I mean, the interns or whatever, they're going to get their interns to read a certain portion of it, and probably get back to them about it or whatever. So like none of this oversight is really occurring right now, because everything's concentrated into these 12 people. So So anyway, it's just really crazy right now that the way that they're breaking down Congress and watering down their power, and right now they're miles apart on anything, and you got the same process going on with all the corporate lobbyists. There's 619 different corporations and groups that are lobbying just the Supercommittee. So just these 12 people are getting lobbied by 619 groups, groups of people, to get their special interests going. Got all these people in their ear, like, oh, we need to cut this. Like what is, you got General Electric still lobbying the Supercommittee. Like General Electric, I mean, I don't know if anyone knows about General Electric, but they didn't pay any federal taxes last year. That's Obama's like his golden child of what he feels will spur the economy. He championed them at the beginning of the year. He's like back in January. He's like, oh, they're taking advantage of these good tax rates that we got for corporations to get the businesses going, get more employees in there, or whatever. And these are the same, tax cuts that Bush put into law, that most people are saying are vilifying, but when I don't know, the president he's championing those companies that are partaking in it, so I don't know, it's kind of weird how that goes down. But yeah, basically I just see that so what my prediction is that there's going to be some massive cuts going on. Like I don't know if the automatic cuts will go in, but what I think is going to happen is that as it gets closer to the deadline, people are going to feel pressured, and it's going to come down to the 12th hour, just like it did with the debt ceiling. And there's going to be some things that get passed that people are not going to be happy with, and I think that what's going to happen is everything's going to be blamed on the Republicans, and Obama's still going to be able to look as he's still going to be able to look good because everyone's going to look good to their own constituents. The Republicans are going to look good because it's going to look like, oh, we stood up to those Democrats. The Democrats are going to look good because it's going to look like, oh, we tried to save your programs and everything. We tried to do this or whatever, but we weren't able. But I think that everyone really, like, they already know what's going to go down, and I don't know, they're just making it seem like they're trying to avert it, but you can't. The problem is so huge, and no one wants to stop defense spending. No Democrats, no Republicans. Like, nobody wants to stop defense spending. And I don't know. I just think that there's going to be some crazy shit that's going to go down between now and the end of the year. I think we'll see between November 23rd and December 23rd. It's going to be some crazy shit going down. And I think that the middle class, especially the lower middle class, is going to be really hit really hard, And I don't think it's the Republicans' fault, and I don't think it's the Democrats' fault. Well, I don't think it's the ideology's fault. I think it is the fault of these politicians who have all of these groups that they're catering to, and these big businesses and what for. I think it's all of their fault.